first race back, so I haven't raced in a while, so was able to kind of get the first race jitters out of the way, and relatively quick, and rode pretty good, and was able to get on the box for third overall. I feel like bowl series are pretty tough to prepare for, you know, both physically and mentally. It's just kind of a little bit different, you know, as far as you know, length of motos and stuff like that. But outdoors, you have to really be ready, you know, for the heat. And I think the heat is the biggest thing. And last weekend, luckily enough, we didn't have the heat, and I think this weekend's going to be relatively cool out. I feel like I know what to expect as far as the series and everything, but at the same time, there's always new guys coming up that are super hungry and ready to do battle. So those guys kind of keep it interesting and keep the unknown factor. You know, I think obviously we got my teammate who's a rookie. He's riding pretty good, Zach, and you know, although, you know, like Zach and some of these guys are maybe older than me, they're still, you know, rookies, and they still got that fire, you know. So it's yeah, they keep it interesting, and that's more of the unknown factor is the competition. But as far as the series and the tracks and everything, we're pretty used to it and know how to you know, take it on.
So Hangtown went pretty good. I went in there with no expectations, didn't know where I'd fit in. I haven't been on the bike that long with the thumb injuries I've been dealing with all Supercross, so I just wanted to get some racing time and some seat time. I went out with 13:10 for 10th overall, so obviously it's the first race, you get those out of the way, the jitters and stuff, and you know, it get the season underway. Well, I'm coming in off of an injury, so but coming off when you're racing Supercross and then jumping straight into outdoors, it's more, I would say, mentally to change your mindset of the longer motos and just get used to the grind. You're kind of spoiled in Supercross. It is tough, but you are spoiled. You stay clean and you don't deal with the dirt and all the great outdoor stuff. So you just change mentally mainly for after Supercross. My thing is just be there every race. I mean, obviously I missed this whole Supercross season, so my thing is to just be at every race I can and just rack up points and try to be there at the end. That's my goal. For how many seasons I've done now, I'm pretty older in the class. You would think that I'm just used to the grind and every weekend, but every weekend I still have those pre-race jitters and those butterflies that come along, and you feel like a kid again. That's why you keep coming back. You know, it's just that you come back for that spark. So no, I love it. You know, I treat each season like a new one and try to improve. That's my thing, is improve each race and each season.
Hangtown was really good. You know, coming into the race, I think I hadn't really proven myself outdoors too much, and overall I wanted to come in and kind of obviously get it started out on the right foot. We did that, came in, got a win. You know, it's the first race, so everybody's a little bit nervous. It's a little bit weird, the first race. But yeah, we're looking to keep it going. I think mind-wise, for 250 guys, it's not too hard to get your mind wrapped around it, because really the Supercross season is so sporadic. I mean, we do like 5 races in a row to begin the series on the West Coast, and then we got like 2 weeks off, 1 race, 2 weeks off, and so we kind of start riding outdoors in February and kind of getting your mind wrapped around it then. And physically, I think it's the same thing. I mean, I've kind of been preparing for outdoors since kind of February, kind of put in those long motos when I had that break, so definitely felt ready coming in. You know, I did 2016 outdoors in 2017, but before that I'd only done like 6 nationals in 2013, so I wouldn't say I'm like, you know, it's not like I'm putting hundreds of these races together. I do feel like I have enough experience to know the tracks and kind of, you know, like know where to start on the gate and stuff like that, and know how the lines form, but at the same time it is a kind of an excited, fresh feeling. I think this whole year I've made so many improvements on myself. The team's been great. We've been making a lot of improvements on the bike, and in the past I think I've struggled with having the confidence, and this year I feel like I'm good enough, better, you know, as good as any one of these guys out here, you know, respectfully speaking, of course. Yeah, so I'd say that's the difference, just mentally. Like, I just feel like I'm there, and that really brings you the rest of the way. You know, I think my technique's gotten better. I've gotten stronger physically, mentally. So I've won a lot of races in Supercross this year, so certainly we're taking that momentum in outdoors.
Hangtown weekend went really good for us. We were on it right away from practice on. We actually got really lucky with the weather. At least got one dry moto in, which was the first one, which didn't have the greatest start, but I could make some moves happen pretty quickly and went into first place, which was great. And then second moto, it just got really wet and sloppy out there. A lot worse than I actually thought it was going to be. We're really happy with first overall in many, many days. Going from Supercross to Motocross, as you know, everybody knows, we don't have a whole lot of time. So I think it's mainly just, you know, once you have a base that's pretty solid, and then it's really just getting used to the speed of outdoors and putting in a couple of long motos. But it's really difficult also to get the bike dialed in such a short amount of time. I think that's probably the struggle that every rider going from Supercross to Motocross is dealing with. It's a fresh season, fresh start, but it also feels very familiar. Keep everything solid and consistent over the entire season. You know, 12 weekends is a lot of racing, 24 motos, 22 to go. So yeah, it's just, you know, you can't get too excited about every single race. So I'm just trying to keep a steady flow here.
Yeah, Hangtown last weekend, round one motocross. Kind of started off a little slow. We were a little slow in qualifying. In first moto, I actually got together. I hit Garrett Marshbanks in an off-camera corner on the first lap. Went down, and then I got back up, and Jordan Smith actually had ran into my rear wheel, and we were our bikes were tangled. So I came up to like maybe inside top 20, and then I went down again. And at that point, I was so far back, I just kind of salvaged what I could, and it was not ideal. And then second moto, I kind of used all that anger and frustration and came out swinging, and I was able to get a second and get the first podium of the year for the JJR guys. Yeah, I mean, this year is the first year in a while, I guess 2 years, where I've actually been able to ride Supercross all the way out healthy. So I mean, my focus wasn't quite as much in outdoors because you're trying to still maintain your Supercross technique and form and all that. So you know, I did the best that I could, and we had some breaks, especially like after Indy Supercross, where we were able to ride outdoors for a couple weeks and kind of get your feet back under you. The good thing about being a veteran is I've been doing it now for 9 or 10 years, so it's all the tracks are pretty much the same. I mean, every year they vary a little bit. A lot of it depends on track prep, but that's the one thing I have on my side for sure is knowing how these tracks develop, and you kind of know the lines are similar every year, so you can kind of go back to that and kind of rely on your experience. I think the biggest thing in Supercross is I definitely had an up and down season, but I was really pumped we were able to finish Vegas with the top 5, a solid race, and that confidence of just finishing healthy, you know, not having any aches or pains, it was really nice. And to know that, you know, obviously the Suzuki's capable of running up front, and you know, I think that brings a lot of confidence in just knowing that the bike's competitive and that we can run up front.